Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was a great ceremony. It was kind of the way that I think it should have went, and the speakers ahead of me were real good, and no, it was a lot of fun for sure.
When did you come up with the idea of having Matty Nordstrom help you raise the band?
I thought of it a couple weeks ago. I knew he was coming in. I had met him, in November at the Hall of Fame, and but for me, just that was probably the one guy that I played the most with throughout the career here, and I thought it was just kind of fitting, or appropriate to have him there beside me too.
What's it like to hear people say such nice things about you all the time?
Well, it wasn't always that way. no, it's flattering. People ask, what did you expect and everything. I think, the word honor obviously comes into play. But for me, it was able to walk out to see the current Kings and to see some of the old Kings lined up, and a night we had last night. So to see the mixture and just, I think, kind of where the franchise is coming. When you're part of it for that long and you go through things, to see where it's at now it's pretty amazing.
What was the most emotional part of the ceremony for you?
I think just first walking out, it's a little overwhelming when you walk out, but it's on your behalf. You're not just walking out. I think that was one of them, and definitely the speeches by the guys beforehand, and you listen to them. It's kind of different because you're sitting there, you're all alone, and they're kind of looking right at you. But it was good, very good.
It sounded like Dustin Brown was really emotional when he was speaking. Did that surprise you?
A little, yeah. It's great because that was kind of what we were trying to do. You leave impressions on these guys, but I mentioned to these guys last night when we did our little thing, and the current players were. I said that the impression that they're leaving on the next generation is the same thing. So, I was fortunate to see it with Luke's banner going up and feel that and be in that kind of experience. And now these guys are getting the same type of thing.
Can you give us one of your favorite highlights? As a King, I know there's many, but one that comes to mind?
Well, I don't know. The funny thing here the last couple of days is mostly the hit. Everyone asks about those, but I watched some of them. Like, I kind of cringe at some of the things I was doing. I'm not sure the body would take now anyway. So.
Or were they legal?
Not very. That's why I got out when I had to. I went in the player safety.
When you saw your jersey or your number first up there in the rafters, what was the first kind of emotion that hit you when you finally saw it up there?
Probably being fortunate throughout a career. It's like all those guys you play with and everything. You're very lucky if you get to that point where you can have your jersey retired, and a lot of it has to do with the people you're surrounded with and your longevity, and you got to be lucky too. So. All that kind of stuff comes into play when you're sitting there. Getting to the NHL is one thing, and once I understood that and played in there, I wanted to make an impression that lasts, and I wanted to be able to be fortunate enough to be able to play a long time and do the right things, and one day have that. So it kind of all comes to fruition here when you walk out tonight. So it's being nice.
One minute you're getting your jersey retired, and the next minute you're back upstairs working.
Yeah.
You went right back to work.
I went up just to watch tonight. I'm an advisor. No, that's the best part. You get up there, and I sit with those same guys every night, and we get to talk about the game and things. So it makes it nice and relaxing.
Was Larry, what it was like playing with Wayne Gretzky?
It was great. Like I said, I think being fortunate to be able to play with great players, Hall of Famers, and everything at the beginning, but to be able to watch him and the way he handled himself on and off the ice, I think any young guy would prepare them for professional life. He's the best guy to watch.
Can you describe your career in a few words if you were to sum it up?
A few words, fortunate would be the only word I can really think of. I touched on it, I think, in November at the Hall of Fame thing too, is that you're fortunate who you play with, you're fortunate to be able to play long, and you're fortunate to be able to win in different situations. So all those things kind of come in that play.
Was Larry your first defense partner, or was it someone else?
You mentioned the growth of
Larry your first defense partner, or was it someone else?
Yeah, when Larry was Winnipeg, I remember playing against, walking in, and my jersey was beside him. And Larry, Tim Waters, and Tom Laidlaw the first year there for the most part.
Rob, you mentioned the growth of youth hockey over the last 25 years here in SoCal. What would be your message to any parents who have a kid playing right now?
Wow, I think it's tremendous. I'm involved at youth level, just having my own kids playing, and to be able to see it, to take a team from California to go to Chicago, to go to Boston or Toronto area and compete on that same level. And then you see Arizona State in a Division I school. It's coming this way eventually, but it's the talent that is out here. And, it's really nice to see.
Hey Rob, when you look up and it's you and Dave and Luke and Wayne and sort of the guys who laid the foundation, when you see yourself with them, what does that make you feel like?
Well, I just think the way the franchise has gone, and believe me, with the team that's on the ice tonight with two cups in the last 3 years, you're going to see a lot of those jerseys up there. But they also had to be kind of paid to get to that level, and you look at Marcel and Rogie on and through those years. And it's funny, I was talking to Bruce McNall beforehand, and he was all excited because he had 3 or 4 of those guys play underneath him. So I think just for the franchise part of it.
Is there a guy that's on the team currently or even in the league that kind of reminds you of a younger version of yourself?
I don't know. I think we're real fortunate, and most of you guys here that get to follow the Kings, you get to watch Drew Doughty every night. And I don't think there's a better player at that position right now that could control a game like that. So for me, when I sit upstairs, it's fun to watch. I watch Brady McNabb come in. He's played 30, 40 games in the league, and you can see him establish himself as that physical type player. Experiences, and like I said, we had that dinner last night, and to hear some of the old stories, and then today when I'm walking around the room with the current players, they start asking more and more about those, and I think that's how the history game gets passed down.
Do you wish McNall was still the owner so you could get a Rolls Royce out of it like Wayne did?
That would have been a nice gift. No, it was great to see Bruce, interact with some of the alumni that were here, and the ones that he had a different way of owning a team. It was nice to be part of.
Lots about Daryl Sutter and him being able to lead this team to 2 Stanley Cups in the few years that he's been here.
Yeah, it's funny to see Luke talk a little bit about family in his speech and that, but I think that's kind of what was instructed from Dean and Daryl, and the way they treat this. It's not always the smoothest relationship. It's a little bit of tough love, but it is like a family where he's got those players' backs. I think they all know that.
Tough love between Daryl and his players.
Yeah, but the players know that and they understand it. But I always tell the players too. I said, when you come upstairs, if you guys understood some of the things that he does for you guys, and he goes out of his way to do, he's pretty passionate about those guys.
Rob, was there anybody that was here today or a message that you got that surprised you or you didn't expect at all?
Not really. I mean, I was fortunate being Matty Nordstrom up there, a guy that meant a lot throughout my career, and to have guys travel that distance from Sweden and different things. But it was fun to see guys from all the different generations. There's different stories that go on with each one of those teams, and you get to relive them again.
Cool.